Have you ever seen a woman whose breasts weigh more than 10 kilograms each, so massive they block her view of her own feet, pull her body forward, and once even sent her tumbling down an entire staircase? That's the reality of Ghana's Joyce Ado, better known as Busty GH. Her chest is so heavy that doctors warn it could damage her spine, yet she walks through life with a bold confidence that stuns everyone around her. Or think of the Mbalantu women of Namibia, real-life Rapunzels whose hair once grew so long it touched the ground. Maintained with sacred oils, herbs, and rituals, their locks became cultural crowns, flowing past their bodies in a way that made them walking legends. And then there are the giants. In northern Ghana, Sulemana Abdul Samed stretches toward the sky at nearly 9 feet 6 inches, so tall that when health officials tried to measure him, their tape ran out. In Angola, Francisco Domingo Joaquim shocked the world with a mouth so wide he could fit an entire soda can sideways. These are not myths or exaggerations. They are living people whose bodies are pushing the boundaries of what we think is humanly possible. But here's the real question. How is it possible to have such enormous body parts? Breasts heavier than boulders? Hair longer than a city bus? Hands that can engulf your face? Or a body taller than your ceiling? And more importantly, who are the other men and women across Africa whose anatomy seems almost unbelievable? In this video, let's find out. Number 15. Francisco Domingo Joaquim. If there's one African whose body part has made headlines around the world, it's Francisco Domingo Joaquim from Angola. Nicknamed the Angolan Jaw of Awe, Francisco holds the Guinness World Record for the widest mouth on Earth. His jaw can stretch to a mind-bending 6.69 inches wide, large enough to fit an entire soda can sideways, or even hold multiple bottles at once. Francisco discovered his unusual ability as a teenager in Sambizanga, when friends dared him to test just how far he could open his jaw. Soon he was drawing crowds in markets, stretching his lips around objects most people couldn't dream of fitting. Word spread, and by 2010, he was on the international stage, officially crowned the man with the widest mouth. Doctors and scientists were fascinated. How could one man's jaw muscles and skin be so elastic without tearing? Researchers studied him, but no clear explanation ever emerged. What they did confirm was that his gift was entirely natural. No surgery, no trickery, just pure anatomical anomaly. Number 14. Asha Zulu Mandela. If hair is a crown, then Asha Zulu Mandela wears the largest one on Earth. Born in Trinidad and Tobago, but often celebrated across Africa and the diaspora, Asha holds the world record for the longest dreadlocks, which stretch over 110 feet long, longer than a city bus. She began locking her hair more than 40 years ago, not for fame, but as a spiritual journey. Over time, her hair became her identity, yet it hasn't been without struggle. Her locks weigh more than 25 kilograms when dry and far more when wet, enough to strain her spine. Doctors have warned her that the weight could cripple her, but she refuses to cut them. "My hair," she once said, "is my spirit. To cut it would be like cutting my soul." Number 13. The Nuer people. Deep in the Nile Valley, the Nuer people of South Sudan are known not only for their fierce independence, but also for their exceptional height. Like their Dinka neighbors, the Nuer stand among the tallest people in the world, with men often exceeding 6 feet 3 inches and some reaching beyond 7 feet. Their stature is believed to be the result of genetics and a traditional cattle-based diet, rich in milk and proteins. But for the Nuer, height is more than biology. It is cultural. Their long, lean bodies have been celebrated in rituals, warrior traditions, and even spiritual practices tied to cattle, which they regard as sacred. Number 12. Elongated heads. The Mangbetu live primarily in the northeastern Democratic Republic of Congo, and what sets them apart historically is their tradition of Lupambo, the intentional elongation of the human skull. From infancy, Mangbetu mothers would tightly wrap cloth or bandages around their babies' heads, pressing and shaping the soft skull bones before they hardened. Over the years, this created a strikingly elongated high forehead, a look that made the Mangbetu instantly recognizable. But why do this? For the Mangbetu, it was not deformity, it was beautiful. The elongated head was a symbol of intelligence, social prestige, and elegance. To them, it was a mark of nobility, an outward sign that the individual came from a family of culture and refinement. Women, in particular, became famous for their high foreheads, often styled with elaborate hairstyles that accentuated the head's length. European colonists who encountered the Mangbetu in the 19th century were stunned. They compared them to the elongated heads seen in ancient Egyptian statues and art. Pharaohs and nobles in Egypt were often depicted with tall, elongated skulls, leading to speculation that Egypt, too, may have practiced some form of cranial binding. Some historians argue this aesthetic link shows a shared cultural thread across Africa, a tradition of associating elongated heads with power and wisdom. Number 11. Abiodun Adegoke. If you thought NBA legend Shaquille O'Neal was tall, wait until you meet Abiodun Adegoke, the Nigerian giant nicknamed Big Naija. Standing somewhere between 7 feet 9 inches and 7 feet 11 inches, he is potentially the tallest basketball prospect in the world today. Unlike many with extreme height, Abiodun moves with surprising coordination. He can run the court, pivot, and defend, making him more than just a novelty. Scouts have described him as a player who could change the game if given the right training and exposure. Number 10. Common Maluak. At just 17 years old, Maluak was already standing 7 feet 2 inches tall and competing against grown men in international basketball tournaments. Through the NBA Academy Africa, Maluak found a platform. He began refining his skills, turning raw potential into polished talent. During Olympic qualifiers, he shocked scouts by holding his own against seasoned professionals. His long limbs, defensive awareness, and surprising agility made him look like a player born for the world stage. But what truly sets Maluak apart isn't just his body. It's his mindset. Unlike many who see height as a burden, Maluak treats it as a purpose. Every time he steps onto the court, he carries South Sudan's story with him, a story of resilience, rebuilding, and the pursuit of dignity. Number 9. Hussein Bisad. At one point, Hussein Bisad was known as the tallest man in the world, towering at 7 feet 9 inches. But behind his imposing frame lies a life of struggle and solitude. Hussein was born in Somalia and suffers from acromegaly, a condition caused by a tumor that floods the body with growth hormones. His massive hands, over 10 inches long, and towering frame made him a medical marvel. But when civil war forced him to flee Somalia, Hussein's life took a tragic turn. He sought asylum in the UK, hoping for safety, but found himself isolated and dependent on care homes. Today, in his 40s, he lives under constant medical supervision, needing help with even the simplest tasks. His body, once a record-breaking spectacle, became a prison. Before we continue further, tell us, are you enjoying the video? If yes, please like and share the video and subscribe to our channel to watch more videos on Black Africa. Let's continue now. Number 8. Charles Sogli. In Ghana's Volta region, Charles Sogli has become a local legend. At over 7 feet tall, his presence is impossible to miss. But it's not just his height that makes him stand out. It's his feet. So enormous that no shoe on the market fits him, Charles walks the streets barefoot every day. That's not just uncomfortable, it's dangerous. Sharp stones, broken glass, and infections are a constant threat. His mother recalls carrying him for 10 months during pregnancy, and from birth, it was clear Charles was extraordinary. His growth was rapid and relentless. Clothes, furniture, and even public transport all became struggles in a world built for smaller bodies. Number 7. Suleiman Ali Nashnoush. Born in Tripoli, Libya, in 1943, Suleiman Ali Nashnush reached a height of 8 feet 0.5 inches, making him one of the tallest men in recorded history. Unlike many giants who live in obscurity, Suleiman made his mark in multiple arenas. He played basketball for Libya's national team, using his extraordinary height to dominate the court. Later, he appeared in Federico Fellini's 1960 film Satyricon, carving out a small place in cinematic history. For a time, he was celebrated as one of the tallest athletes ever to walk the earth. But his growth was not natural. Doctors discovered a tumor on his pituitary gland, leading to gigantism. By adulthood, the condition left him with mobility problems and chronic pain. He eventually underwent surgery to halt his growth, but by then, his body had already stretched to legendary proportions. Number 6. Munir Fourar. Born in Batna, Algeria, Munir Fourar was dubbed the tallest man in Africa and at one point the second tallest man in the world. Standing at an astonishing 8 feet 2 inches, he lived a life that constantly blurred the line between awe and agony. Munir wasn't born unusually tall. His growth spurt began at age 12, triggered by a rare pituitary gland condition that caused gigantism. Within a few years, his body stretched beyond comprehension. Strangers stared in amazement, but daily life became a nightmare. Walking required tremendous effort. Sleeping was a struggle on beds too small to contain him. Healthcare was nearly non-existent. His fame brought fleeting attention, but little support. Most saw his height as a curiosity, not a condition that demanded compassion. By his late 30s, Munir's massive body began to collapse under its own weight. In 2012, his oversized heart gave out, ending his life too soon. Number 5. John Waweru. In the coastal city of Mombasa, Kenya, lives a man whose identity has literally grown from his hands. John Waweru has spent more than 2 decades growing his fingernails, and today they stretch to a staggering 41 centimeters, which means 1 foot 4 inches each, earning him recognition as the man with the longest fingernails in Africa. For John, this wasn't a passing whim. He began growing his nails in his youth and refused to cut them even when ridiculed. Over time, what many saw as strange or impractical became his signature. The nails curve and twist like living sculptures, catching the attention of everyone he meets. Maintaining them is no small feat. He spends hours carefully cleaning, protecting, and sometimes polishing them. Daily tasks most people take for granted, like buttoning a shirt, shaking hands, and even using a phone, become complicated. But instead of seeing this as a burden, John turned his unique feature into a source of pride and livelihood. Number 4. Mercy Women. Deep in Ethiopia's Omo Valley, the Mercy Women are known for one of the most striking and controversial body modifications in the world: lip plates. Girls, usually between the ages of 13 and 18, begin the process by piercing the lower lip and gradually stretching it with increasingly larger clay or wooden discs. Over time, the lip can stretch wide enough to hold plates, measuring 20 centimeters or more in diameter, the largest anywhere on Earth. To outsiders, it looks extreme, even shocking. But within Mercy culture, the lip plate is a symbol of strength, maturity, and social standing. A large plate signifies a woman's readiness for marriage and her family's honor. It is also tied to ideas of endurance and beauty, traits deeply respected in their society. The practice is not just decorative, it carries heavy cultural weight. Anthropologists note that lip plates can also represent resistance to colonial domination, as the Mercy fiercely maintained their customs despite outside attempts to abolish them. Number 3. The Mbalantu. Women. Long before Disney gave us Rapunzel, Africa already had its own legends of women with hair that touched the ground. The Mbalantu women of Namibia were once famous across the continent for their breathtaking locks, natural hair that grew so long it trailed behind them like royal capes. But this wasn't just good genetics. It was ritual, patience, and centuries of cultural tradition. From childhood, Mbalantu girls were introduced to a sacred hair care process. Using ground ochre, natural oils, and crushed herbs mixed into clay-like pastes, Their hair was treated, braided, and extended over years into elaborate floor-length locks. Each strand symbolized maturity, beauty, and womanhood. During initiation ceremonies, marriages, and festivals, their hair wasn't just decoration. It was a crown of identity. The maintenance was astonishing. It could take hours of braiding, weaving, and oiling every single week. The hair wasn't left to flow freely. It was shaped, sculpted, and worn with pride, often woven with fibers to support its weight. To outsiders, it seemed impossible. To the Umbalanu, it was their heritage. Number 2. Sulemana Abdul Samed. In northern Ghana, a man named Sulemana Abdul Samed is redefining what it means to be tall. He stands at a staggering 9 feet 6 inches, making him one of the tallest men alive today. When health officials first tried to measure him, their tape measure ran out. They literally couldn't record his full height. It took a hospital examination to confirm the jaw-dropping number, and even doctors were left stunned. Sulemana's condition, pituitary gigantism, forces his body to pump out excess growth hormones. Unlike most people, his bones and tissues never stopped growing. His height gives him presence, but it also brings pain, a curved spine, swollen legs, and constant fatigue. Living in Gambaga, a small town with limited health care, Sulemana has had to adapt to daily challenges most can't imagine. Beds are too small, clothes don't fit, and walking itself can be excruciating. Yet, remarkably, he carries himself with calm dignity. Children run beside him in surprise, villagers call out his nickname, and he has become both a spectacle and a source of pride for his community. Number 1. Joyce Addo. When people first see Joyce Addo, they don't look at her face. They can't. Her chest arrives first. Known online as Busty GH, she carries breasts so enormous that each is believed to weigh more than 10 kilograms. To put that in perspective, that's like walking around with 2 large bowling balls strapped to your chest every single day of your life. At first, it might sound like a blessing in a world obsessed with body image, but for Joyce, it's a battle. She admits that her breasts are so large they block her vision when she wears a bra. Something as simple as walking down a flight of stairs can become life-threatening. In fact, she once misjudged her steps, fell forward, and tumbled all the way down a staircase, landing in the hospital for weeks. Doctors feared her spine might give way under the relentless strain. And yet, despite the pain, the stares, and the endless curiosity from strangers, Joyce wears her size with an astonishing confidence. She laughs at the memes, embraces her notoriety, and even speaks openly about how her body challenges the world's definition of beauty. Have you ever seen someone with unbelievably huge body parts? Do you feel it's a blessing to have big body parts, or is it a trap people cannot escape from? In the comment section below, let us know which of these people's biggest body parts shocked you the most. Do you want to watch more videos like this one? If yes, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon next to it. We bring videos on Black Africa, its history, rich arts and culture, and things the world should know about. Thanks for watching, and until the next video, stay tuned.